welcome. Hello, and welcome to the Pondwater Dave Show. I am going to screw this intro up every week. I demand it. My name is Justin Davis, and I am the host of the Pondwater Dave Show. As always, I am joined by the man who counted Ric Flair's last match, the man that this show is named after, Pondwater Dave Miller, and of course, the First Lady of the Arn Anderson Fan Club. We love her. And her name, of course, is Amy Vaughn. And welcome, guys. How's it going? It's good to see you this week.
Glad to be here. Excited. I got him still cracking up because I gave you behind the curtain. I gave him instructions on how to seamlessly open the show.
And I did it.
And he's still, so that's going to be the fun thing every week is watching him fumble. I love it.
Well, we have a fun show this week, guys. We're talking about Wrestlemania 17. What's going on in the world of wrestling this week? Any news and notes we want to talk about? I know that. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I think Goldberg being a free agent is pretty big. It's a pretty significant story because really Goldberg being a free agent just means that Goldberg is no longer off the table for Tony Khan. Ugh. I mean, because they weren't doing anything with him. They were sending him to Saudi Arabia. Mm-hmm. I mean, but to me, I'm excited for it because Goldberg said he wants a last match. And apparently WWE is not interested in giving him a last match because they let his Legends deal, whatever kind of deal they had him on. They didn't feel like they needed to re-up and keep him on retainer, so to speak. So it's well established if you listen to this show that I truly believe that Tony Khan books his fandom, and it's clearly an ECW fan and clearly a WCW Monday Nitro fan because he does like a surprise. And I believe he tried to make a run at Goldberg before, and Goldberg passed and went with WWE. But now we're a few years later, AEW has established itself as the clear number 2 in the world. And why not let him have his last match against maybe Jericho?
I was going to say, don't kill Sting like that.
No, I don't think that. I mean, I think.
Well,
Jericho,
I can tell you. I mean, I hope that does not happen. I don't think I'm not a fan. And again, it would be doing something for Goldberg. We'll let him have his last match. What does that do for us fans? Nothing. And if Tony Khan, I don't think that's a wise use of money. I know that's not really maybe his thing.
I would be
worried about it.
I'd be willing to bet if Goldberg was announced for AEW Dynamite, they'd get over 1 million viewers. Significantly. I'd even go so far as to say 1.2.
You think 1.2 Goldberg for a
if
Dynamite?
They announced Goldberg was going to be on Dynamite. I think they would get a significantly increased rating. And if they gave Goldberg his last match, and I mean they got plenty of people on the roster, but I think Jericho would be, the best choice for that. I could get the most out of him for his last match. And I think it would pop a significant buy rate. I mean, there's a lot of people that say they don't like Goldberg, but they sure turn it on when he shows up. And I personally still get excited to hear the music, the march to the ring, the pyro, the presence. I mean, and I've never been around Goldberg in person when I didn't think he's an absolute ass. But I do pop for Goldberg is what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Still, after all these years, I think when Goldberg shows up, his act is still pretty cool to me. It's not unbelievable. I mean, he's built like he's still, very physically intimidating.
Definitely physically intimidating. If I had not seen, the Taker Goldberg in Saudi Arabia, and if Goldberg had been away for a while and he was coming back and you didn't have these kind of matches that were maybe not as good matches and issues. I just.
But that's the
am
only
not
one that's been
excited.
bad.
But that was the last. I mean, yes, but that was the last.
Let's don't pretend that the Undertaker had been putting on 5-star classics his last few outings.
Well, no, I didn't say that. This is about Goldberg coming back and why
Eddie
I
thinks
would not be.
Eddie doesn't like him. Eddie Prather doesn't like him, and that tells me right there it's a pretty good idea. Eddie Prather, I want to welcome everybody that's riding along with us. We're live and in living color on YouTube. We have Jared Weiss. We have Eddie Prather with us tonight. Thank you
Eddie.
so much for coming in and riding with us.
It's better than watching a Goldberg match, isn't it, Ed? I don't know. I for one don't want to see another Bill Goldberg match. I didn't, but I guess there's an audience for it, and if there's an audience for it, then AEW is going to pull the trigger on it. Do Jericho and Goldberg still have heat, or is that squashed now?
I'm sure it's squashed.
Yeah. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to.
Hey, shout out to my brother-in-law riding with us in the chat.
Hey.
My brother-in-law Russ, who's a heck of a musician, got a band called Hurricane.
Hurricane.
I
need some of that. Do I rub it in the back?
Man, they are a tremendous rock band, and they perform all over the state of Mississippi and the Gulf Coast. If you ever see them on the marquee, you should definitely check them out.
Well,
it's Hurricane. It's Hurricane, Ed. Hurricane. Rock you like a hurricane.
There's a hurricane coming
like
through.
A hair band. He plays a heck of a Purple Rain too.
Maybe we need to bring him to Top Guy Weekend, and Eddie can be his vocalist. Eddie can sing for him, and he can.
I've tried to get him booked.
There we go. So as we said at the beginning of the show, we are talking about WrestleMania 17, which was an epic event. The last of the trilogy of the Austin and Rock matches, I think. Is it not? Is it this? I think it's the last one. I thought the last one was.
They did it again at 19.
Oh, 19. Yep. So this is the middle. Yep. 15, 17, 19. We have trivia from Miss Amy Vaughn about WrestleMania 17. So everyone's favorite part of the show. Amy, what do you have for us this week?
First off, do you have your whiteboards?
Shoot.
I do.
No, I have my paper.
I'm a professional podcaster.
Yeah, I'm not.
Thank you, Dave.
Well, if it wasn't
Justin,
for my wife,
we're gonna work
for
on
my wife, I wouldn't have had one. She's not here. So she's not listening and catering to my every need right at the moment.
I have my handy dandy blue Sharpie ready to roll.
All right. There's 12 questions. 18 was the first WrestleMania in the great state of Texas. To date, WrestleManias have occurred in Texas. You have 3, 4, 5, 6. How many WrestleManias have taken place in Texas?
Looking at the chat, I've already wrote mine down. Nope, guessing in the chat yet.
All right. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
You say I can't see.
Mine's a 4. I got a 4.
All right. To date, there have been 4 WrestleMania.
2 in Houston and 2 in Dallas.
That's
Arlington,
right.
if you will.
You have 7, which were both held in Houston, and then
one was at the Astrodome.
No,
one
they're
was at
both
the
there.
Astrodome. The other
They're
one
both
was
they're both.
Astrodome was gone by then, wasn't it?
Or whatever it is, the Reliant. No, I'm pretty sure.
Reliant Stadium replaced it.
Okay. Well, this 17 is Reliant, so it must have been Reliant Astrodome is what they called it. So,
okay. I know
whatever.
the branding. Always Astrodome.
So I don't know. And third were both held in Arlington, Dallas area. All right, WrestleMania 17 has had Reliant Astrodome and boasted in how many people? Okay, so your choice is 67,925, 60,925, 60,925, or 69.5.
I wrote
The number. Okay, Justin says B, which is 925, and Dave says 69,925. You're both in 67,925.
I want to say they announced it in the building at 75.
No,
But that's
they announced it in the 7,925. They actually did it a few times.
Well, I'm old. It's been a long time.
Are you saying your hearing wasn't as well?
I'm just saying I forgot. I misremembered.
Misremembered. Well,
yeah.
WrestleMania is held in which one boasts highest attendance for any WrestleMania? So one of the WrestleManias can boast that it had the highest attendance ever, even today. So was it 17, 25, 32, or 38? One of these had the highest attendance of any WrestleMania ever.
One, 2, 3.
What? Oh, you said 38, Justin, yeah. and Dave says 32. What? 32.
38 was 2 nights. So.
Oh yeah.
WrestleMania 32, which took place on April 3rd, 2016, at the AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, boasts the highest WrestleMania ever, with an attendance of 1,763. At this WrestleMania, we saw a main event of Triple H versus Roman Reigns for the WWE Championship. Roman won the belt from Triple H that night. We also saw the Divas belt. Oh, cool. Divas belt retired, and the new women's championship belt, which was won by Charlotte in a triple threat between. This was also the first WrestleMania to feature. I'm sorry. This was the last WrestleMania to feature one championship belt, as the WWE Universal Championship belt was revealed July 25th, 2016. Good job. So
I was sitting ringside for that one. Got to bring my chair home.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was the day after my 50th birthday.
Just generically, how much did a ticket cost you? Generically, just kind of throwing out a round number for ringside seats.
I paid $135 for the lower bowl, but my best friends upgraded us to ringside. I don't know how much he paid.
How did
I don't know how much he paid. I don't know how much he paid for them, but the ticket, which I have over here on my bar under some glass, the face value of the ticket's $1,480.
I mean, Justin,
I don't think
you're
they
my
paid
friend.
that for it, but
I was going to say, Justin, we're friends. How come you've never upgraded me like that?
I don't know.
What kind of, I mean, damn, I got wrong. I don't have the right friends. That's pretty nice. Why did they, just because he could, or what? Was he?
While I'm humble bragging.
Oh, okay.
I hung out at the hotel bar with Conrad and got to.
Was that your friend that upgraded you?
No. My friends Cheryl and Wayne, and Cheryl says it was more Wayne than her. Cheryl's been my friend since 8th grade. She was my girlfriend for about 2 weeks in 8th grade, and we've been friends ever since.
Uh-huh.
And Wayne's one of my best friends, and I fixed him up.
I think I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, but they upgraded me, and like I said, I got to hang out, and talk to Flair. When Charlotte, Sasha, and Becky were all in the bar, Rick went over and presented them with watches. He got them all matching watches.
Oh.
It was pretty neat, and I had a good time that night. So that WrestleMania, that whole weekend was. I got to say, my kids gave me a surprise party.
Oh.
Yeah, it was incredible.
That was kind of your 50th birthday. Is that what you said? It was your 50th?
It was my 50th.
Cool. I'll be turning 50 in 3 years if anybody wants to upgrade me. No. Just throw it out.
It's kind of cool. My birthday always falls around.
Yes.
It'll be on night 2. It'll be on night 2 this year.
All right. So there was no Hall of Fame ceremony at this WrestleMania event. Feedback? Is it just me?
I'm looking to see if there's something I can do about it.
Okay. I don't hear it now. So maybe you did something. So there was no Hall of Fame ceremony at this WrestleMania event. As of WrestleMania 17, was the last year a Hall of Fame class had been inducted into the WWF/WWE Hall of Fame. And I don't have any choices for you. You have to write this down.
I'm not Oh, for 17, there was no Hall of Fame. Okay.
Yes, for 7, maybe. Okay. There was no Hall of Fame ceremony for WrestleMania 17. As of WrestleMania 17, what year was the last year a Hall of Fame class had been inducted into the Hall of Fame? It was not something they were doing all the time back then.
Oh, yeah. It would have been
You got to write it down. I don't have any choices for you. What's the chat think?
The chat hadn't made a guess on this yet. But Ed wanted to point out that he'll be turning 50 in May.
Yes, you are, aren't you? What? I can't. 90. Okay. Actually, Dave, you are correct. It was 1996. It was actually in 1996. That was the 4th Hall of Fame ceremony. It took place November 16th, 1996 at the Marriott in New York. It did happen the same weekend of the Survivor Series. The inductees included Baron Michael Scalina, SC.
Baron Miguel Scicluna. Baron Scicluna.
Hakuna Matata.
Yeah. I just remember him. He was enhancement on the WWE shows in the 80s when we first got cable.
Really? Okay. I looked it up and practiced, and then I couldn't remember. Captain Lou Albano was also in that class. Jimmy Snuka, Johnny Rods, Killer Kowalski, Pat Patterson, the Jimmy and John, and then Vincent J. McMahon went into the Hall of Fame. So, what year do we see the reintroduction of the Hall of Fame ceremony, which has become a part of the WrestleMania? Again, I don't have any choices for you, sir. So, what year do we see the reintroduction of the Hall of Fame ceremony? And that it became the WrestleMania weekend. Okay, what's we got? Oh, right in the middle, 2004.
I said 2003 and Dave said 2005.
Yes. So
I was guessing.
It was you were a good guesser. This was the 5th class, obviously, to go into the Hall of Fame. It took place March 13th, 2004 at the Hilton in New York City. Inductees included Big John Studd, Don Morocco, Greg the Hammer Valentine, Harley Race, Jesse the Body Ventura, Junkyard Dog, Sergeant Slaughter, Superstar Billy Graham, Tito Santana, Bobby Heenan, and Pete Rose in the celebrity.
Yes, Pete Rose.
Uh-huh.
That's
The
right.
reason that the Baseball Hall of Fame is 100% bogus.
Hold on.
Until they put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame, it's 100% bogus.
Is Brutus the Barber Beefcake in the Hall of Fame? I don't think he is.
I don't. There. I'll look that up.
I would be shocked if he's not. I don't know who he pissed off.
Well, now they do the legacy wing, and they do, so that'll be interesting. I'll look that up. Official theme song for WrestleMania 17. And I do have choices for you.
I don't need them.
I don't either.
Oh, okay. Well, fine. Okay.
On 3, Justin, sing it.
Is it hands up or hands down or whatever? Is that it? Limp
No.
Bizkit? No. That's what I thought it was.
It's Limp Bizkit, My Way or the Highway.
Okay, I knew it was Limp Bizkit. I couldn't think of.
Yeah.
Well, tell me what letter it is on my trivia. It is My Way by Limp Bizkit. Very good. All right. What life-changing event happened on the Raw WrestleMania 17? And I don't have you because it's a pretty big deal.
What life-changing event happened on Raw?
They announced it. Man, I was at the Raw before WrestleMania.
Mae Young gave birth to a hand?
No.
That was not this episode.
That's life-changing.
That is life-changing.
I don't know, Amy. I was there and I don't remember.
The sale of WCW
Yeah.
WWE was announced.
That wasn't the Raw before WrestleMania.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I think it was.
It was the Raw before WrestleMania. The sale of I know. I do research. Shut up. No. The sale of WCW to WWE was announced with a simultaneous broadcast on WCW Nitro and WWF Raw. The end of the show had Vince McMahon claiming that he would be signing the contract to buy WCW at WrestleMania 17 with Ted Turner walking down the aisle to bring him the contract.
I must have gotten SmackDown then.
At that moment, Shane McMahon appeared on the screen in City, Florida, where Nitro was being filmed, saying that his dad's ego cost him and that the contract had been signed, and it did say McMahon, Shane McMahon. So in the storyline, Shane was at odds with Vince and Stephanie and had a street fight planned for WrestleMania 17. So yes, that happened 6 days before WrestleMania 17. You must have really had fun at.
Well, maybe it was just a Raw house show then. I could have swore it was Raw, though, from Fort Worth, Texas.
This was not in Texas. This Raw was in.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have wrote it down. But this Raw was like in Michigan, or it was some wild place. Nowhere close, because I thought, man, these people have to travel. Anyway, how much did Vince McMahon pay in total for WCW? And I do have some choices for you, unless you know.
Pretty sure I know.
Do you want to go ahead and try?
I'm going to write it down, but go ahead with the choices.
Okay. 3.5 million, 4.2 million, 5.4 million, or 5.7 million. How much did Vince McMahon pay in total for WCW?
Well, I originally said.
I said 2.5 and I changed it to 3.
I originally said 2 million, and then I just put a 3 point in front of it. 3.2 million.
That wasn't even a choice.
Oh,
I thought it was 2.5, but I'm going to say 3.5 then.
It was actually 4.2 million.
Oh,
So Vince
It's-
McMahon, well, he paid 1.7 million for the video library, and he paid 2.5 million for the WCW name and likeness. So for a total of $4.2 million. Can you imagine $4.2 million? That doesn't even sound like, you know, that
I
doesn't
mean, if
sound
you
like
want to
any.
look at a comparison, Vince spends more on undisclosed nookie than he did for WCW.
Like triple the amount. Oh. All right, number 9. With all the titles up for grabs at WrestleMania 17, how many titles actually changed hands? And I've got choices. Was it 2, 3, 5, or they all? How many titles hands at WrestleMania 17?
I'm going to
2, 3, 5.
I feel like 2's the answer, but it might have been 3 because I'm thinking the tag titles might have changed.
I say 3.
All right. Out of the 6 titles up for grabs, the only one that did not change hands was the Intercontinental Championship. So 5 titles changed this night.
I don't
Chris
remember.
Chris Jericho retained against William Regal. You have Raven losing the title to Kane. Test lost the European Championship. Ivory lost her title to China.
In a
The
squash.
The Dudleys lost their title to Edge and Christian. And then, of course, The Rock lost his title to Austin. So when China for the women's championship title at WrestleMania 17, it was the first time since which WrestleMania that the women's title had changed hands. So China defeated Ivory at 17, and it was the first time since what WrestleMania the women's title even changed hands. And I don't have any choices for you. Sorry, you have to guess.
You know it, Justin?
Nope, but I'm guessing WrestleMania 2.
What'd you put, Dave?
1.
I can't see your board. I don't know why. There you go.
You put 1.
Dave is correct.
Yeah.
The women's title had not changed hands at a WrestleMania since WrestleMania 1 in 1985 when Wendy Richter Lalani Kai. Who had their front teeth knocked out during the TLC match between the Hardys and Edge and Christian? Was it Jeff Hardy, Edge, Spike Dudley, or Lita? Some had their front teeth knocked out during the TLC match. Was it Jeff Hardy, Edge, Spike Dudley, or Lita? I can't see yours, Dave, for some reason.
Edge.
I say Spike.
Justin is correct. It was
My
Spike.
first one I got
Woo-hoo!
right.
So this match had additional participants, obviously running in during the TLC match. Lita, who was with the Hardys, and Spike, who was with the Dudleys, and Rhino was in the corner of Edge and Christian. So during the match, Rhino and Spike were laid out tables at ringside, and Jeff jumped off. He climbed a 20-foot ladder and jumped off and performed the Swanton Bomb on them. And Spike lost his teeth and needed 12 stitches.
It was a heck of a match.
Yes. Oh, and we'll talk about it. But that's that's something you're going to see on all
Forever and
best.
always. That's
All right, last question. Who did Mean Gene Okerlund accidentally call by their first name or their real name and not their gimmick name during the gimmick battle royal? So he called somebody by their real name and not their gimmick name. Was it Brother Love, the One Man Gang, Tugboat, or Earthquake? So accidentally called someone by their real name and not their gimmick name during the gimmick battle royal. So who do you think it was?
I say Earthquake. Dave says Brother Love.
When Earthquake is eliminated by Mean Gene says John Tenta, but stops and then says Earthquake. So, yay! So you did good at the
I
end.
finished hot. I finished with 2 in a row. Look at that.
I love
So
that
I
gimmick.
hope
2 for 10 ain't bad.
That gimmick battle royal was so much fun.
It was. It's one of the
it
best
was.
things
It really was. So I hope everyone out there enjoyed the trivia. Any feedback, you can always let me know if you like it or if it's not hard enough or what you think about it. I do appreciate it. And on with the show, right?
Absolutely. That was fun. WrestleMania 17, as we said, is the topic of today's show. Really goes down as one of the legendary WrestleManias. I'd say a lot of people consider this to be the best WrestleMania. What do you guys think about that?
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah. I mean, it's high on most people's list, at least in the top 3.
Why do you think that? Why do you think that, Justin? You're getting ready to say something. I'm sorry.
I think the tables, ladders, and chairs matches really remembered as, in a positive way. It being one of the Steve Austin Rock WrestleManias. And I think the gimmick battle royal honestly really gets a big pop every time people go back and watch it.
And I still think that Triple H Undertaker from WrestleMania 17 was probably one of the most enjoyable matches that those two had.
Yes, and that was a fantastic match. And I think the Shane McMahon and Vince McMahon match is remembered. Everyone remembers when Linda stands up out of her chair and kicks, and Vince spreads his legs real far so Linda can kick him in the balls and all that. And I think just there are a lot of memorable moments in this WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's kind of interesting because some people will say it had the ending. There's a lot of people, and even the people in the match will say they wish they hadn't done that. Not in anything for anybody out there, but even Steve Austin has said he's regretted the heel turn at that moment. So that's interesting that you're right. Whenever I was doing research for the trivia, that is one of the things that would come up constantly, is it is considered best WrestleManias ever. And I always think that's interesting because it also will be said it has the worst finish. Again, just neat how that kind of juxtapositioned.
There we go. Well, it is this show takes place in tell us, Dave, you were there.
In the Houston Astrodome.
Yes.
It's my first trip into the Astrodome. Lived in
Really?
Texas my whole life, and up until that point, and I remember it was such a impressive. They called it one of the. I think they actually billed it as the 8th wonder of the world.
Cool.
It was just incredible. It was such a large stadium with tiny hallways. The concourses were tiny. It was just such a neat venue. I'd seen it as a kid. I'd seen it in the movies for the Bad News Bears. The Bad News Bears, one of their movies, they played a game there.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fun stadium to be in. It wasn't a star-studded WrestleMania. Motorhead was there to play Triple H to the ring live.
That was badass.
Yeah, it was.
That was really cool.
Access was fun. Got to see the blown up DX bus. Got to see the Corvette full of cement. Actually, got to hold my first real wrestling belt. And here's the neat part: is I'd had a Figures Inc. toy company NWA belt, and then when they as soon as they advertised the Big Eagle, the Intercontinental, I bought them. I mean, I ordered them, and we had them. I carried the world belt. My brother carried the Intercontinental, and this was before they were. I mean, they were actually presenting them at Access coming soon. These belts, and I already had one.
Oh, cool.
And people were like, "Wow, that's cool," because it wasn't a common thing then. So we thought we were King Turd on Crap Mountain, walking around there with our belts. But they had a charity. You could pay $10 and get a Polaroid with the real belt.
Polaroid.
So yeah, Polaroid. For you kids, that's an instant camera where they took a picture and it printed out immediately, and you took it and you waved it and a little wind on it, and it developed in your hand. But so I've got a Polaroid around here of me holding the Big Eagle. And as soon as they handed it to me and I felt how heavy it was, the first thing I could think of was Rock taking that belt and slinging it. And this thing weighed, I mean, it was a solid, 10, 12 pounds. And so now my toy belt didn't stack up now that I know just exactly how a real ring used belt felt. And I believe it was right about then is when I started trying to figure out how to get a real one made.
Did you get any autographs or anything there at Access?
No, I don't recall getting an autograph. They had a ring, the 24-hour fitness ring, and the Hardy Boys were in there, and I couldn't believe how big they actually were.
Oh, really?
Because they didn't look that big on television.
Sure.
And I was really impressed with how big the Hardy Boys were. They'd like come out and be interviewed in the 24-hour fitness ring. 24-hour fitness was a big chain at the time, big sponsor. They had fantasy play-by-play that you could do with like the anti-smoking campaign had that where you could sit down, and we called me and my brother called Hell in a Cell when Foley got thrown off.
Oh, cool.
And I'm sure I think I actually took that. They actually gave you a VHS tape of it. And I think I've converted
to our audience what a VHS tape is. No,
I'm pretty sure I converted it to digital, but I'd made an off-color joke during mine that Foley hit that table harder than Earnhardt hit that wall. Because Earnhardt,
that was pretty fresh. So
it was real fresh. It was real fresh.
It's about a month.
Like a month? Yeah, a month ago.
Yeah, so it was. I mean, we were having a good time. Had a great time at Access. Had a great time.
Is this Ike?
Yes.
That you were talking. Ike, the one. Ike has been on the show with us and told us about his WCCW trips with you.
We went to WrestleMania together.
Awesome! Oh, cool.
He's supposed to go to WrestleMania 32, but he no-showed me. He couldn't make it to town.
Darn, what kept him from making it to town? I think I would have.
He lived in South Carolina at the time.
Oh, okay. Never mind. No, might have been hard.
Well, let's dig into this card a little bit. We opened up here at WrestleMania 17 with X-Pac. Well, this was a dark match, wasn't it? Yeah. The X Factor, X-Pac and Justin Credible defeated Steve Blackman and Grandmaster Sexay, which is also my nickname at times. But that was the the card, the match before the official WrestleMania start. And the first match that we saw on the pay-per-view would have been Chris Jericho and William Regal for the Intercontinental title. I like opening the show with this. I thought this was the right pick. just two good workers that you know are going to give you a good match, and it's for the Intercontinental title. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with William Regal and Chris Jericho, especially at that time.
And Jericho had a great entrance. So, I mean, again, that is what starts the show, which is, just makes you want to get you pumped. So, yeah, definitely.
If I remember right, it seems like this. See, how long was that match? Yeah, only about 7 minutes. So it's about a perfect opener there. No complaints. Good way to start. Then we have Taz and APA defeating the Right to Censor. And I forgot all about this match, honestly, until I started looking at this. Right to Censor just had so much go away heat with everyone, I think, mainly because of their music.
Let me interrupt you.
Uh-oh.
We've got a special guest.
We got a run in.
We've got a run in. At this time, everybody, please welcome to the show his first appearance on the Pondwater Dave Show. He is the host of the game event on Premier Streaming Network, the lovely and talented Efren.
Everybody here. What's up,
Efren? Uh-oh.
We can't. You're breaking up on us. It's that Arizona internet connection. Well,
the chat has popped for Efren too.
We can hear you, but it goes in and out. Efren, of course, as Dave said, is the host of the game event on Premier Streaming Network, which is going to be debuting very soon. And Efren is here to tell us all about it if he gets his stuff straightened out there.
And he's gone.
And he's gone. Well, that was almost a quicker run in than the Bushwhacker Luke getting him going into the Royal Rumble.
These things will happen live.
That's right.
The 41-minute mark, I'll need to probably cut that out.
So our third match was Taz and APA. Our second match was Taz and APA defeating the Right to Censor. And I was just, first of all, Taz and APA, that's a badass team together. Three guys that can just
it is.
But Right to Censor always had go away heat with me, I think, mainly because their music was so terrible. But I kind of like the idea of putting the Godfather and the Porn Star and all these guys that were the reason for the WWE being censored now teaming up in a force. It was kind of a cool idea, but I don't know. It just never seemed to go anywhere.
Yeah, I think I was about half hot that the Godfather became the Good Father.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to try this again.
Oh gosh, here we go.
Well, Efren, are you there? It shows that he's here, but now he's gone again. Darn it, I was really wanting Efren to be on here.
He will. Third time's a charm, right?
Ed Prather's not a fan of the Godfather. He thinks they were trying to ruin Charles Wright with that gimmick. I think that was probably the best incarnation of Charles Wright to this day.
I was going to say, I think
I was all for the hose.
Known.
I love the hose.
He loves the Godfather.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's the Good Father. He agreed with us on that.
Yeah, the Good
Okay,
Father.
gotcha.
All right, we're gonna try a third time's a charm. Come on in, Efren.
No whammies, no whammies.
All
no
right,
whammies.
here
This
we
is
go.
good. This is good podcasting, Pondwater.
There we go. It's all right.
Hi everyone. Hi Amy. Hi
Hello.
Justin.
What's up?
Could I get that applause again?
Yeah. There we go. The crowd goes wild.
I'm loving your sunglasses.
Efren just turned this into the Arsenio Hall show.
Woo, woo, woo.
Where are we on trivia? What are we discussing tonight?
Well, we've
Well, we
already
finished
done trivia.
trivia.
And I'm glad you're here because we're talking about a show that you were actually at in attendance, WrestleMania 17.
I was there.
You and Pondwater Dave were both there. I want to know what was going on.
There,
You guys
Pondwater?
I was there
Where were you sitting?
in the lower bowl, and if Motorhead was at 12 o'clock, I was probably at 2.
Okay.
Where were you
Efren,
sitting,
I
Efren?
Efren was sitting behind JR
I
because
was
he's on
behind
TV.
JR and Paul.
Oh, I wasn't that good.
You can see me on the broadcast, right?
Yes.
Oh
If you
my
watch
God.
WrestleMania 17, you can see Efren with hair.
Oh, I got to go look at this.
When Angle attacks Benoit, right? Or whichever,
Yes.
and they're in the back, and the referees go up, blow it up. They cut back to Jim Ross and Paul, and you see this head pop up and point right behind them. That's me.
What were you wearing?
I don't even remember, but it fit, unlike everything else.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
I just
I think
No,
he
I
had
didn't.
black,
Shirt I was wearing.
if I remember right, he had a black shirt on.
Can you play it if I have it, or do you not have that capability?
We don't know what we can and cannot do on this show.
Yeah, if I have them, I don't know if I can play video.
All right.
I'm gonna say no.
Oh, okay. Well, there went that.
I'd have
Some trivia for you
Uh-oh.
Okay.
before I thank you for letting me interrupt. I have a game event announcement after this trivia, but let's go back to the question on Jeopardy, or the answer under the Final Jeopardy category, business and industry, that Ken Jennings got wrong. The answer: most of this firm's 70,000 seasonal white-collar employees 4 months a year.
Hobby Lobby.
no.
Hobby Lobby only open a couple of months, huh?
I'm just saying Christmas
guesses?
time is when they
Where are we in the chat? Any guesses? Because I can't see the chat.
No.
No, Eddie and T Weave are out in there, and
Ken Jennings said, "What is FedEx?" The correct answer is, "What is H&R Block?"
Oh.
I wouldn't have
that
got it,
makes sense.
but it makes so much sense.
What is it? Miss, not you, Amy, the one who all that money, the one who just had that long run.
Yep.
The what's her? See, it's insulting if I don't know her name.
I feel like it starts with a B. Last name starts with a B.
Because none of you could have helped me and look this up. Because Amy Schneider, under the category countries. Yeah, under the category countries of the world, the only nation in the world whose name in English ends in an H. It's also one of the 10 most populous. Anyone?
I'm thinking. It ends with an H.
And it's the 10
This is riveting.
most populous.
Riveting.
I'm horrible at
Country.
geography.
What
I
is
don't know.
Bangladesh? And
Huh?
that is the one. You have any questions for me about WrestleMania? So I was there, for most of it. You want to hear something funny? Pondwater, Amy, Justin, is my other half and I got in a huge fight right after TLC. And it was one of those like first pay-per-views that was 4 hours. And he said, I thought you said this was only going to be 3. I go, I guess we got a huge fight and we left.
Oh,
I was
God.
not there for the ending.
Oh, man, you missed the best part. I don't know if that was the best part.
I don't think I did.
TLC's hard. I think TLC was probably the biggest spectacle of that whole WrestleMania.
You know what's cool? You know what's cool at Access? I was the last guy on Saturday who was able to call a match, and I called TLC 1. Back when you could, they let you call. Oh, that was fabulous. I put the headset on, and I'd say, Jeff Hardy, 30, 50, 75 feet in the air. He's going to oh, my God.
We actually
did
were
the,
talking about that before you came on here, Efren. Dave did the Hell in a Cell Mankind match.
Yeah, I did that one, and I think I actually think I digitized my. I moved the tape to DVD, so I still have it.
You know what I don't love about that jump? You ever notice Howard Finkel? You watch Howard Finkel, the right hand, he goes like this. He turns away, and you can see he says a prayer, like, please let him be all right. But he just covers his face. So watch Mick fall off the cage again. Howard's very compassionate there.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, JR always says that he didn't know. JR said he didn't know it was going to happen, but he got out of the way pretty quick. And I never have thought he was all that
finding
fast.
out that Louis died during that match.
Oh,
yeah. So that's what I think. I'm here to tell you as an exclusive in 1 hour. I have not announced this to all your thousands of fans. 1 hour, I'm going to announce that the game event on Premier Streaming Network will premiere on Premiere next Wednesday night, March 29th. We are paying homage to Wheel of Fortune. We have 3 people you know on the show. Amy, I think you might be on the show.
Maybe.
Pondwater, I think someone you're married to might be on the show. It's ladies' night. And someone is going to have the chance to win a $500 gift card to Ticketmaster. To have the chance to win next Wednesday night. We premiere on Premiere after almost 5 months. Sign up for Premiere Plus, $4.99 a month. Anyone who says they saw this, who saw me on the Pondwater Dave show, the first 10 people who say so, who sign up for Premiere Plus, I will guarantee you a spot on a future game event and make your prize at least $300 if you notify me before night 1 of WrestleMania. Okay?
Ooh, how
all right.
awesome. Thank you.
And
now, all 3 of you have been on.
And I'm going to clip this. I'm going to clip this part of the show, and I'm going to blast it on social media.
Without way, what did you all think of your appearance on the game event? On the new one?
The production value has increased tenfold. You have taken what was already a very enjoyable game, but the production value has ramped up to I mean, just you would it's day and night, and that's not knocking, and that's not knocking what you did on AFS, but the move to Premier Streaming Network has really upped your game tremendously. And I'm not just saying that because I love you. I mean, this is very, very impressive. And we're not real hard and fast with it, and it doesn't go off the track. It's a professionally done game show. And
we're not messing around this time. Not that we were before, but we're we're everything you just said.
I'm
Amy, what'd
really
you
looking
think?
forward to watching every episode of this.
You
Amy,
know,
what'd you think?
I got to be on ladies' night. Those ladies are my friends. I would love to hang out again. I had a blast, and you're going to allow our fair to be contested. I mean, that's pretty awesome, and I really do hope all of you all take advantage. He's not kidding. He gives away prizes and 100, 300. You know, I mean, those are real prizes that you will be getting, and you have time, and you get to play games, and you get to test your knowledge of wrestling. So I loved it.
I mean,
you know, I love it.
They're all the classic games that you grew up with, and then with a wrestling twist on it. You cannot beat it.
Not
Justin, you were on the first one we taped in December.
I was gonna say I don't even know if I remember.
In December, when we upped our production values and everything.
Yes. Listen, I love it. I have always loved your show. It's so much fun to get on there, to just interact with Efren is always a blast. The questions are, always fun wrestling related questions. And so if you ever get a chance, definitely check it out and participate, and definitely listen. And when you say it's premiering on, what's the date?
March 29th.
March 29th.
Exclusive on the Pondwater Dave show. I will be in with one of my little videos. Like, we're the first to know it. No one else knows it. And again,
what all do you get?
Sign up for Premier Plus. Sign up for Premier Plus. Let me know before night one of WrestleMania. Tell me you Water Dave show. Plus, be one of the first 10. I will put you on the game event in a few. Guarantee your prize to be at least $300.
And it's so
God,
the
do
29th, and Premier Streaming Network. Now, what I was going to ask you, Efren, what else are you going to get on the Premier Streaming Network for $5 a month?
You get libraries and libraries of your favorite current superstars before they were stars. AJ Styles, Sami Zayn. And you also get the best independent wrestling around the world. Premier Streaming Network, like you said, Pondwater, is ramping up production on independent wrestling. It is easily watchable, and Josh Chernoff, Dave Sturcio, calling WrestlePro, other great federations like CZW. Oh my goodness, I'm a big WrestlePro fan.
Just for Josh Chernoff and Efren, $5 a month is a bargain.
That's $250 a piece. Efren's $250 and Josh Chernoff's $250. That's pretty good.
$4.99 a month.
Good deal.
I'm guaranteeing you, if you're one of the first 10, a shot on the game and a chance to win at least $300 in some sort of some sort of prize. Over $8,000 will be offered on our first couple of episodes that we have put in the can.
And so, I mean, and those prizes can be won. It's not like he's going to ask you what was the middle name of the rabbi that performed MJF's bar mitzvah. I mean, these are games that you can win.
That hat just went for $1,400 on Matt Cardona's show. Also available on Premier Streaming Network.
Well, we've already got our...
Amy, can they win prizes? Justin, can they win prizes?
Absolutely. And I did.
People win. People do win on the game event.
That's right.
On Premier Streaming Network.
Efren, you've already sold the great Eddie Prather. He's just said he paid for a year of Premier Streaming Network. So there you go.
Way to
And also, Terry Weaver said that you are worth at least $4, not $2.50. So there's that.
Oh,
he thinks you're $1.50 more.
Correct.
so nice. I want
Love
everyone
it.
to sign up. I want everyone to sign up because just like Efren said, the first show that will be premiering is a show that is ladies' night and is going to have me. Can I say the contestants, Efren?
Yeah, you can say the contestants.
Okay. It's going to be me and the lovely Stephanie, who is married to Pondwater, and our wonderful friend Allison Faye. So the three of us with Efren, we have a great time. Can I tell them what the game is or no? I shouldn't.
No, not yet. Not yet. I'll just
We have
say,
a great time, and I want you all to watch it and tell me what you think.
So hold on. It was Amy and Stephanie
Yes.
and a Faye and a gay, right? So there was. This sounds fun.
oh my God. So I own the trademark to the word kayfabe, right? Just drop the B in the nice new show, kayfabe.
There it is.
Love it.
There you go.
You
heard
money,
it.
Justin, but I already own it. Kayfabe. Love it. All right, I have to go feed my cat. I'm going to be listening on the way home. Premier Streaming Network. Premier Plus, $4.99.com.
Efren,
I love you guys.
Efren, we love you. Thank you for popping on.
my
We
video
wish
now.
you the best of luck. We know it's going to be a hit. I bet it's going to be the top show on Premier Streaming Network. I believe that with all my heart.
I just enjoyed the team. So I love you guys. Love you so much.
We know how hard you've worked on this. We're really proud of you.
Please.
Yes. A lot of time and effort is put into this game.
This is Pondwater. This is Pondwater. We're really proud of you. You've done this is Amy. You've done so much. We're really looking for really proud. This is
That's exactly right, JR.
Yep. I love you guys. I'm gonna
love you.
Premier Streaming Network.
Thank you for
bye.
Bye-bye.
again.
Well, there it is. Wednesday, March 29th on the Premier Streaming Network. Check out the game event hosted by everyone's favorite game host, Efren Bajorquez. And yeah, that was fun.
I'm gonna tell you when we had our get together in Chicago for what they call the top guys, the top tier at ad free shows. Every year that we go, this year it's going to be in Huntsville. Last year it was in Chicago. Efren did a live version of the game event with the ad free hosts.
Best part of the weekend. It was the best part of the weekend by far.
I mean, he's become friends with Karen Jarrett because of it, because she loved playing the game so much and loved Efren so much. He puts his heart in everything he does. And I very
rarely dance, but I was up shaking my ass to Mike Chioda.
Yeah,
yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah, that's another thing about Efren is he provides he did the theme song for the Mike Chioda show.
Yeah.
So go out of your way to check out the game event on Premier Streaming Network.
Absolutely. Anyways, back to the show that you and Efren both were at, Wrestlemania 17. We talked about the tag match. The third match of the night, we had a hardcore match, which used to be a thing back in these time period in wrestling. The hardcore match was Raven, who was the champion, facing Big Show and Kane. This was an entertaining match for me. I know a lot of people kind of crap on this match. I was entertained by it. What do you guys think?
I'm thinking I probably went to the concession stand during this match.
Well, you might have got hit by one of them if you went to
Well, and you know, a lot of Exactly. That's what I was going to say. You know, that might have been a good time to go only because it wasn't in the ring area. You were probably having to watch on screen the different shenanigans that were going on in the background. Um,
I
I
hadn't
liked it.
changed much in
You know?
20 years. I just wasn't a fan of hardcore then. I'm not a fan of hardcore now.
Right. It wasn't too, you know, it wasn't bad. I think it was entertaining. It moved pretty quick. You know, we didn't have a lot of blood. I mean, it wasn't thumbtacks and barbed wire, you know, like it was just stuff that was in the back, you know, a garden hose and a golf cart and some different things like that. So, you know, it was entertaining.
Yeah, I liked it. Kane, as we said, wins the match and becomes the new hardcore champion. Yeah, the one thing there was a golf cart involved in this match. There's all kinds of stuff going on. So the next match we had Eddie Guerrero with Perry Saturn defeating Test in the European Championship. This was kind of I don't know, almost just a filler match. I felt like a little bit. What do you guys think?
I don't think it was the showcase for how great Eddie Guerrero was.
Yeah.
I think, and two, there's a lot of interference, you know, between Perry and Dean Malenko. Like you said, it didn't really showcase the greatness of Eddie Guerrero, that he could even win a match on his own.
Right.
I think Tess, whether he got his leg caught in the ring or in the ropes, seemed to have difficulty getting out. I mean, even to the point where Eddie helped, which of course, I think that makes sense. You can't pin someone if their legs are tied up in the rope, but I think that kind of slowed it down a little bit, which again, it's nobody's fault. That stuff happens. But yeah, I agree. It didn't really show the greatness of Eddie if he needed, two other people to help him defeat Test, who was not, I mean, he was a European champion, but he was not a great technical or wrestler.
I think right before this match is when we had backstage. Benoit puts Angle in a crossface backstage. And as soon as they come out of that, that's when you can see Efren behind Jim and Paul. So it's actually right before this Eddie and Saturn match, I think. Let's see. Next match was Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit, as I just alluded to. This match was not quite as good as I expected it to be. I thought it was just going to be, fantastic. And after I watched, I was like, I mean, it was good, but there just wasn't really.
Do you think you just expected too much? Because
I think so, probably, yeah.
Going back and watching you, I remember really enjoying. Of course, I loved everything Benoit did. Well, except for that last thing. But other than that, I loved everything Benoit did.
Yeah.
Up until then. I
like Kurt Angle in the all white tights. You don't see him in white very often. I liked that here.
I love this match. I thought it was. I love the mat. The mat wrestling that they did in the beginning, and how Benoit was really going toe to toe with Kurt Angle. Like, and again, I could be completely wrong, but I felt like none of that had been talked about. Like, it was just them two doing wrestling, holds on each other. And it just, it's how it worked out. And of course, Kurt Angle is the first one to do a non-mat wrestling move, I guess you could say, which is a heel move, which is perfect. But I love that beginning. I really thought that was, like I said, spontaneous. They just said, okay, you try to get me on my back and I'll try to get you on your back and let's just see what happens. And I really did. I do always, it's weird now, I always feel conflicted watching Benoit matches now. It's just one of those things that, kind of like Dave alluded to, you can't not think of that whenever you see him.
Yep.
And it's almost like, I don't want to say or I feel weird saying something good about him. You know what I mean? And it's very conflicting. And so, but I really, really did enjoy that match.
Well, I get what you're saying, Amy. And for the longest, I tiptoed around it. But I mean, everything he did just the way that it ended doesn't change how great he was in the ring, how great his performances were. And yeah, it's unfortunate, but I mean, I'm to the point where I feel like it's okay. I feel like it's okay to enjoy a Chris Benoit match without having to qualify it, because I mean, everybody knows if you're a decent human being, you know that you don't. I mean, that you're completely disgusted by the way, the last 24 hours of his life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, but it doesn't change the fact that he was a treat to see in the ring every time he went out there.
Right.
He's one of the best to ever do it.
Speaking of a treat, this next part might be one of my favorite part of the show. After this match, we get the Kamala on Steve Regal's death spot. I love that. I love it. I will watch it and laugh every single time.
Exactly. He wants me to rub his stars, his gimmick.
I love it.
That gimmick battle royal was probably one of my favorite. It's definitely right up at the top when I think WrestleMania 17. But it's because Michael Hayes played Bad Street USA and strutted ass all the way to the ring.
Our sixth match, Ivory versus China, as we said earlier, was basically a squash made to make China look extremely strong, which I believe they did in this. And Amy is showing us her China WrestleMania action figure that she has there. Does she have a dummy?
Yes. Paul
That's
Ellering
a build a
Rocco. Yeah,
that's build a precious Paul Ellering with Rocco.
Yeah.
So that one came with the Rocco.
Oh, okay.
WWE has a gimmick where you can build, like right now they had like 5 action figures. You can build a Mr. Perfect wearing the dark suit.
Mm-hmm.
They had to build a Mr. McMahon. They had to build a Doc Hendricks.
I thought it was Pondwater Dave for a minute. Turns out it was just Rocco.
Okay. All right, I see how it is.
I loved her in that purple. She looked beautiful.
I did too. I thought it was
gorgeous.
Yes.
And the pop and the cheers and just everything about it. Everything about it was, so, like you said, it didn't last very long, which it shouldn't.
And she didn't even lose the belt. She left the company. Was still champion. So all that for what?
Yeah. Well, our seventh match, we have Shane versus Vince. We talked about this earlier. This had the iconic spot where, as I guess if you go back, people may not remember, Linda had been basically a vegetable on TV for a month or so and I'm not talking about Veggie Tales. She just sat in a chair and didn't move, right? She didn't talk. She didn't really react to anything. It was almost like they were taking attorneys, kind of just hauling her around.
Well,
Trish Stratus was taking care of her.
Vince was eating lots of protein, and Linda couldn't get him to eat vegetables. So she felt like that was the best way to keep him away from her.
There it is. There it is.
Did you just now find that little button there? Because we're just making sure.
Well, the crowd was super into the match. When Linda stands up, you can just hear the crowd just completely. That's what I remember about this match the most.
Yes, I think you're right, Justin. Just that iconic. She's sitting there, and he's like, third time's a charm, and turns around with the can over his head. And then exactly like you said, the crowd, like when she stood up, that was just like, and then it went from there quickly. He got kicked in the balls. Mick Foley comes in, Shane, you know, so it was good. It was good.
Yeah, a little. I thought it was positioned perfectly in the card. I thought they put it in the right spot. Um, but yeah, this match is one that is a all-time memorable WrestleMania moment, I think, at the end of that match.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Speaking of all-time memorable WrestleMania moments, our eighth match is the Tables, Ladders, and Chairs match, which featured Edge and Christian versus the Hardy Boys versus the Dudleys, who are the tag team champions. Just what can you say about this match? I mean,
The best ladder match ever.
yeah.
To this day, I still believe that was the best ladder match ever.
And the crowd was so hyped already from the finish of the last match that when Howard started to introduce the match, the crowd lost their shit. Like they just went crazy when he introduced the table ladders. It just feels like maybe that's why people remember this as one of the best WrestleManias, just because the crowd was so into it. You know, pretty
I
much.
think it. Yeah, this WrestleMania had a lot of stuff going for it. I think the matches so far they've all been the length they needed to be. You know, like I don't feel like there was any that was like you could have cut that or you know. I think they've all been really you know in great positions. The timing has been good. The matches, you know, again, not every match. You had the hardcore match earlier in but you had wrestling matches. Now you're going to kind of have this, which has a gimmick, and then you're going to go a little bit. Then you're going to have the quote gimmick battle royal. So there's, I think, like you said, I think things are very well positioned, and it's moving, you know, and it's just
There's a
moving
lot
right
of
along.
matches on this card too, and it has to move because they got
Yeah,
a lot of matches on this card.
exactly.
But I don't remember being exhausted by this WrestleMania. Being in
Mm-hmm.
the crowd, I mean, I felt
Apparently,
like it was so good that I wasn't like, God, is it over? Can we go?
Mm-hmm.
I felt like it was good.
So that match is over, and the crowd, I would think, is completely spent. So they need a what? A let me up match. Let's do the gimmick battle royal, the ninth match on the card. First of all, we introduce the fantastic combination, the long missed fan favorites of Mean Gene Okerlund and Bobby Heenan, and they come out.
To Tutti Frutti.
Yeah. Bushwhacker come out in some updated garments there. I noticed it was like Bushwhackers 2000.
And they didn't lick the crowd. That was I was
Yeah.
waiting for that.
Maybe
I
they
couldn't
were the sheep
remember.
herders that night.
I just
Oh.
have wrote down the crowd went quiet for Duke the Dumpster Drosey's entrance.
Poor thing.
Yeah.
He probably was one of the youngest ones in the gimmick battle royal.
I really feel like Earthquake should have won that, but I know that Kozrov couldn't take a bump over the rope, so they had to have him win. But
And what a great reason to win, right? Like that's great. Who cannot safely take a bump over the top rope? You're the winner.
and it was just so great hearing Bobby and Gene banter back and forth. Gene's voice is just the perfect announcer voice. I don't know that
Mm-hmm.
anybody before or after Mean Gene sounds so just what the prototypical announcer should sound like. Like if you thought up a voice, announcer voice in your head, it's Mean Gene.
Mm-hmm.
And so
And I
I
don't
just
think he's ever changed. Like I think he sounded the same. You know, like you said, there's not been a change in his
yeah,
voice. And yeah, that was really nice listening to Bobby the Brain and Mean Gene kind of talking about the different wrestlers coming down and different things. That was fun. That was a remembrance of your childhood kind of fun. You know, like really.
I
somehow
like to get on YouTube and go find bloopers with Mean Gene cutting promos. I
yes,
mean, we're doing promos, and there's one fun one with Kamala
yes.
that I'm not going to repeat.
Yeah, I don't think we can. Uh,
Yeah.
Somehow Hillbilly Jim didn't age from like 1987 to 2001. He looks the exact same as he did back then. What else I got down here for this? The crowd really popped for Slaughter's entrance. Brother Love now, he got some offense in on the Goon. He was getting after it. Brother Love was trying to win this whole thing.
They should have let the Goon come out as Wild Bill Irwin since it was in Texas.
Yeah. Brother Love did make the Final Four, too. Need I remind everyone, and Bruce Prichard will let you know.
They popped for Michael Hayes, too.
Yes.
Right. Well, and Bruce Prichard's from Houston, too. So, you know, that was kind of a good little hometown loving, I'm sure.
Did either one of y'all rewatch this?
I did.
I have recently, but I didn't.
Do they show Michael Hayes' do they still show Michael Hayes' entrance?
As in the video, a video of it or something?
No, the actual coming to the ring.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I just wondered because of that robe. I didn't know.
Oh, yeah, he had it on.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I watched it on Peacock and YouTube, like, you know, clips, and yeah, he had it. He had it on, and you could see that was a.
I've always worried that they'd go back and edit that because they're idiots.
Right.
So, as we said, the Sheik wins despite the fact that he could barely move. And Slaughter comes back in, and maybe my favorite part, Gene tells us to Katie bar the door. I love.
I think Cornette got a pretty good pop too.
Oh yeah. Corny was in there. It's quite the cast of characters involved, to say the least. But, you know, I think this next match, the 10th match on the card at WrestleMania 17, is an underrated match. When I watched this back recently, I was really impressed with this match, start to finish. And that is Undertaker versus Triple H. I mean, just the whole Motorhead intro, if that doesn't get you psyched for this match, I don't know what does. But I'm usually not someone that says, man, I loved that Triple H match. I don't know if his words have ever come out.
I was wearing a Triple H jersey. It was the one with the silver sleeves, like little right up in here that was silver and black and had the big cross on the front of it.
Uh-huh. So, Dave, let me ask you, speaking of this match, what do you think about this, I guess, ref bump or whatever you want to call it that Mike Chioda had to do? He was out for 10 minutes while everything went on. What do you think about that as a ref? Like, does it make sense? Call someone else out? I mean, you know, in a ref way, I guess.
I would, if you're going to be down that long, somebody needs to come check on him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, but honestly, Amy, I remembered the match being so good that I had completely forgotten about the ref bump being that long.
Uh-huh.
And if I would have rewatched it, I might have noticed it because I watch matches like a referee now.
Mm-hmm.
And but at the time I didn't watch it like a referee because it was a few years before I started. So yeah, when I take a bump, if I've got to be down, I want them to do something that I need to be down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, incidental contact and you're down for 20 minutes. I don't like that.
Right.
But I mean,
I think it was an elbow, right? To the back of the neck. I can't remember. Like, I'm trying
to mean, if he's going to be down that long, somebody needs to be out there checking on him.
Right. Well, if you're down for 10 minutes, like, should you not be, you know, whatever that move was probably needs to be banned because you're going to kill people. Like,
yeah.
That was just, again, when I was doing research, that was one of the things that, I mean, again, I'm sure it's a very picky thing that I noticed and that I had seen some comments made about, you know, but again, that's the job of the person, I guess, writing is to look for those little things. But I thought that'd be interested about what you thought, since, like you said, you do is like a ref and how things make sense and how you the ref. So I just wanted to know what you thought.
Well, speaking of how long it was, Triple H's entrance felt like it took forever. And I think it's longer than Shawn Michaels' WrestleMania 13 entrance, which was absolutely ridiculous. But
It was long, but you knew it was going to be over 3 minutes because Motorhead was playing the full version.
yeah,
Right.
I think that I don't know how it came off at home. In the arena, we were rocking.
yeah. Oh, I was loving it. I love the Motorhead part. I'm not a fan of Taker coming out to Limp Bizkit, but I really wasn't a fan of the American Badass gimmick. So
No,
is what it is.
I didn't mind it. Now, Dave, have you watched it? Have you? I mean, you were there, but have you seen it since WrestleMania 17?
it's been a while.
It's been a while. Okay, I didn't know if if you'd even watched it.
I didn't
Since
rewatch.
you were there.
I didn't rewatch it for this episode.
Okay.
I know one thing. Mike Chioda looked like he was in the best shape of his life during this match. And Triple H looked amazing, I thought, in this match. Mike Chioda got into a shoving spot with Triple H. I liked the choke slam and elbow off the tower at the end that Undertaker does. Best match of the card so far for me. And I think this might be the first holy shit chant that we've ever heard at one of the pay-per-view. Maybe Foley, but I don't remember hearing it. I think people were more scared than
Right.
you know. But yeah, when Taker choke slam Triple H off that, we got the holy yes chant coming from the crowd.
And that tower was where one of the cameras were.
Yeah. Was that pretty
Yeah, I
close?
remember that.
Was that close to you, Dave?
No. I was quite a ways back from the ring, but from where I was at, I had a shot at the ring, and that tower would have been just to the right.
Yeah.
Of the ring.
I got you.
I still remember that.
Yeah, I think this match kind of gets slept on. Like I said, I think it's my favorite match on the card. But I know people are going to point to the tables, ladders, and chairs as theirs, but I really liked this Triple H Undertaker match. Last one, 11th card.
I think it's the best. I think it's the best of their matches at WrestleMania. Because when they started having the ones later during the streak, when the streak was really being amplified, it's like they ignored that this match ever happened. And this match was much better than any of those other ones. I truly feel that way about it.
Yeah.
I did read that this match with Undertaker versus Triple H was the first time that the streak had actually been spoken of or noted that, this was he was 8-0 at that point. And obviously after this match, he became 9-0. But this was the first time that had actually been acknowledged on the WrestleMania. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Like you said, to see where it ended up.
Well, the 11th card or 11th match on this card is the main event, which features Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock. This is the second in their trilogy.
Ooh, I got goosebumps. Just about to tell y'all how electric it was in the arena when they did their entrances.
I can only imagine.
And I got goosebumps. It hit me all. It got all over me.
I don't understand why they changed Austin's music here. I'm not a fan of I wasn't a fan of this new Austin music that they had. Why change it? I don't know.
Well, I mean, why go Hill?
That too.
But I mean, it didn't work. It didn't work because all of a sudden I liked Vince helping him.
Yeah. Very physical, fantastic match. I like the WrestleMania 13 callback when Rock puts a bloody Austin into the sharpshooter. Just, overall good, solid match. I thought I did put in my notes, Earl's getting a little chunky here. Earl must have been hitting Bud Lights around 2001.
Earl drinks Coors Light.
Oh, that's right. Colorado Kool-Aid, baby. Austin put on the $1 Million Dream, which was, and The Rock reversed it just like Brett did in Survivor Series 96. So I loved that callback too. The crowd went crazy when The Rock stuns Austin. Vince comes out, pulls The Rock off Austin after a people's elbow. And JR is absolutely on his top of his game calling this match. I felt like. The crowd went from cheering Austin to popping for Rock after Vince helps Austin and hitting Rock with a chair. They go nuts when Rock kicks out of the stunner. Austin wins after repeated chair shots and a heel turn alliance with Vince. So the match, very good. The finish is what people, I think, remember as a bit of a dumpster fire.
Yeah. I wasn't mad at it because my guy got his hand raised.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also, I mean, a thrill to see the world championship change hands in person.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about it, Amy?
No, I liked it. I liked the match. I thought, you know, I think that people were not necessarily happy with the alliance. I think he could have turned heel, but maybe if he didn't have the Vince component of it, which I guess I understand why they wanted to do that, kind of like, really get some heat, like, oh, he's going with the boss. I'm with you. This was a very hard hitting, blood hitting with chairs. I always think it's interesting. I do enjoy seeing other wrestlers use a wrestler's finish on them, like the ultimate, FU kind of thing. And so I do like seeing that in the match, as long as
it wasn't overused at that point.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. When it's not like, it's not like everybody's stunning. And so it's
And let me
almost
point
like,
out, the feeling in the arena was we expected WCW wrestlers to run in.
Mm-hmm.
Up to that point, all they'd shown them was in a skybox.
Did you have that feeling the whole entire WrestleMania? Like you should be seeing,
well,
maybe
as
there's
the night went, and then we didn't see WCW wrestlers doing any kind of invasion or interference.
Yeah.
It made you wonder, would it be in the main event? Because it just seemed like that was looming, and you let us know that there was some in the skybox.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
So-
definitely. That was a
so
good
when
way to
Vince-
kind of.
So Vince helping him was a true surprise.
Mm-hmm.
But we also expected somebody from WCW to poke their head in.
Gotcha.
Didn't Sean Stasiak get his ass fired up in that skybox? He did something up there and rubbed somebody the wrong way, and they let him go. Seems like I heard a story about that one time. Maybe I'm just making it up.
I think the story, because I read the same thing, is supposedly they were going to do something with WCW wrestlers at WrestleMania, and Sean Stasiak apparently said something, like maybe at a press conference or something like that, and that is what caused this is all, but caused him to lose favor and for that to be scrapped. So I heard that too. So
Yeah, okay.
it's kind of interesting because obviously now, as adults, and if we go back and look, we know why they didn't have an invasion, because all the top stars had contracts that were guaranteed, so they weren't, Sean Stasiak was there. If he ran out and did something, what kind of impact would even anybody really know who that was? But looking back, or if you were there during that time, you wouldn't have known that you would be like, well, why isn't Sting and them coming out? Well, they're able to stay home and have not worry about, not worried about what the WWF is doing. So that's one of those things that, looking back, it's like, oh, that makes more sense now.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's
What's
back.
wrong?
Back. Pondwater's back.
She started beating on the window.
Why?
Yeah, and then she beat on it again, and I thought something was wrong out there.
Yeah.
Thought maybe the goose was out there tripping or something. I'm having some serious goose problems right now.
Oh Lord.
I mean, really aggressive geese right now.
Oh God. It's mating season.
That's not good with your grandkids around.
I know, and it's illegal for me to kill them, so I'm trying to work it out, figure out what I got to do, because I'm only going to put up with so much of this. But anyway,
I would put a fat head of Eddie Prather out there, and they'll run like hell. They scare them all off. That's what I'd do.
So anyway, my wife is scared of frogs, like definitely afraid of frogs.
Really?
And there was one on the steps by the door, so she couldn't get in the house. So I'm like, I'm broadcasting live, right?
So Stephanie's scared of frogs like Bruce is scared of pickles.
Well, I mean, it was really an ugly frog. And speaking of ugly,
yes.
Speaking of ugly, the frog's not as ugly as Herbert. Ugly Herbert.
Ugly Herbert.
This week's Tales from the Hood is about Ugly Herbert.
Bless his heart. I'm just going to go ahead and say that now.
Well, Herbert was not the brightest bulb in the box. Herbert, in Dallas, you can't buy wine. And when I say wine, I'm talking about Thunderbird, Night Train, Cisco, Mad Dog 2020. You can't buy those. You can't buy those on Sunday. So your professional winolas would buy their wine on Saturday nights, and then they'd be out there drinking on Sunday morning out beside the barbecue house across the street from us.
From the grocery store?
Right, and we are on a corner, four-way stop. I mean, four-way with an intersection with lights. And they'd make Herbert go out there and stand in the middle of the road and direct traffic, and they'd share their wine with him if he'd go out and direct traffic. I've seen Herbert, I mean ugly now. Ugly, like offensive. Like overqualified to be a scarecrow. Looks like a 9-month-old apple.
Poor Herbert.
Fell out of an ugly tree, hit every branch. But he's also pretty ugly because he was a troublemaker. He's just one of those who'd have too much to drink and then he'd mouth off and somebody'd pop him. I mean, I saw him get hit in the head with a shovel. When I say hit in the head, I saw him get hit in the face with a shovel. I saw him get shot. Point blank. Small caliber gun. They shot it. The bullet hit him right in the middle of the head and flattened. The bullet flattened and went around his skull, through his hair, and then it got to the back of his skull and then proceeded to keep going. So it's like it was a straight shot, but it flattened on his head, went around his head, and he had a burn across his head, and his hair was gone, a straight line back to the back of his head. That's how hard-headed he was. He got shot point blank, but the bullet didn't pierce his skin. It's incredible.
Oh, my. So why did they shoot him?
They're fighting. Just fighting.
Just fighting and just drunk and just the gun and shot him. What happened after that when he saw that, okay, well, the gun, that didn't work? Did they stop fighting?
I think the guy that shot him ran.
Yeah, I think I probably would too. There'd be like, oh, no, that's enough. I can't do nothing else.
But he was, I mean, I never had any problems with Herbert. I mean, he'd come in and he might have tried to steal a bottle of wine every now and then. But I
would have popped if right after that bullet went around his head, if he got up and walked over to David and said, see, that's how you get shot in the head.
That's how you do it.
Well, at the time I hadn't been. I'd just like to point out mine did not flatten and go around. It went through.
It's like the Matrix.
So I might be devilishly handsome, but I'm not bulletproof like ugly ass Herbert.
Well, God had to give him a gift, right? So it wasn't looks. So at least it was a bulletproof head.
Whatever happened to ugly Herbert? Do we know?
I'm assuming that he moved off or passed away. I never heard that he passed. He just
sounds like he's hard to get rid of. I'd say he's still here.
But there's no telling.
Your liver can only take so much. So
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, and this was all happening in 1978, 79. So,
oh my gosh, that's 45 years ago. Isn't
I
that
mean, it's a
crazy?
long time.
How old was he in 78? Like, how was
Man.
he an older man, or just you couldn't tell? You know, like sometimes with an alcoholic, you
Yeah,
don't
I
really know
mean,
how old they are.
he might. I mean, to me, I was just a small child. So, I mean, probably he might have been in his 40s, early 50s then.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he looked pretty rough, but my dad looked pretty rough. So there ain't no telling. I mean, when I look at pictures of my dad passed away at 52 years old, and I'm 57, and my dad looked 10 years older than me. So,
well, there is the Ugly Herbert story, the legend of Ugly Herbert.
that's how Ugly Herbert. Next week, I'll tell you all about when hobo food attacks.
Hobo food.
I think I teased the Vienna sausage story. So we got a little time. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give you the Vienna. You're gonna get two for one tonight. On 8/8 of 88.
8/8 of 88.
8/8 of 88. I'm behind the checkout stand, and we have a little girl that works for us after she gets out of school. I think she was 16. I won't give her full name. Her name was Sheila. Sheila was running the cash register, and somebody asked for a pack of cigarettes, and she went and got them a pack of 100s, and they wanted the regular size. So he took the pack of 100s, and he said, "This isn't the right ones," and he threw it, and he hit her right between the eyes. And when he did, I come over the counter swinging. The fight is on. I gave up a foot in height. I probably gave up 100 pounds in weight. And I was giving this big dude all he could handle. Because this kid's horrified. She just got hit between the eyes with a pack of cigarettes.
Right.
Yeah. But so anyway, I'm fighting with him. And at this point, I'm wondering where my backup is.
Right.
Because I think we'd already discussed when we talked about the beating of Underdog on a previous episode that when one jumps, we all jump.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, we all weren't jumping. And when they finally did get up there, they grabbed me. Because while I was much smaller, I was giving him all he could handle. And anyway, I remember that one of the butchers was holding me, and he had a bag with Vienna sausages in it. And he swung the Vienna sausages and hit me in what now I refer to as my good eye. And
on purpose? Like, was he trying to hit you? Or
yeah,
just,
hit me with Vienna sausages. So you would think
he didn't hit you with the full hot dog. He got you with the
so, yeah, I got hit with hobo food. So anyway,
I like how Stephanie's just cackling her ass
at
off.
that point, they let go of him.
They're getting beat up.
They just got the guy out of there. They didn't. I mean, he should not have been able to walk out on his own accord at this point. Well, let's fast forward about an hour and a half, and my mom shows up down there because my mom's coming to pick my dad up.
Mm-hmm.
Your mom's shorter than you are.
Mom walks in, and she sees my eye swelled shut. I'd been in a fight, and she wanted to know about the other guy, and she went back there and she ripped them butchers a new one. Like, how'd y'all let him get hurt? Why didn't that guy get hurt? I mean, it was a whole thing. Well, anyway, I had to go to the doctor. I had a deviated septum. And the reason I know it was 8/8 of 88 is because we still had to fill out insurance forms, and a bunch of them by hand. And I had to write 8/8 of 88 on every one of them. So I've been bit. I've been shot. And I've been attacked with Vienna sausages.
And we haven't even described all the stuff Stephanie's done to him.
That's right. We're just still in the 80s.
Yeah.
That, you know, you're thinking, I went to the Piggly Wiggly with my grandma a lot of times, and I never had anything like this happen.
I'll tell you,
I
I wish that Dave's grocery store was my local grocery store. I'd be there every day to see what was going on.
You'd be one of the
And-
winos selling Herbert. Go out
And
there
I've
and
been
track
told-
traffic.
And I've been told that I'm not pronouncing Vienna sausages right. That it's
Yeah.
supposed to be Vienna.
Vienna sausages.
Get out of here with that.
You can
It's
say it like
Vienna sausages.
my grandpa says it. My grandpa says Vieni.
Right, yeah. My mom
Why is it
says when I was
Vienna?
My mom says when I was a baby, I called them baby bobos.
All I know is I don't eat them. I've never liked them. That's Tony's
Well-
food.
Well, that can of baby bobos, cost several $1,000s getting my sinuses fixed.
Well, we got hit with a double dose of grocery stories tonight. We want to thank all of our people that joined us live. Terry Weaver, Eddie Prather, Ben Jones, all the way from Alaska. Ben, one of our millions and
Yeah,
millions.
Ben from Australia.
Australia. He's one of our millions of Australian listeners that we have down there.
He's the one that's putting us in the top 100 in Australia.
right.
Go, Ben.
That's
Jared
right.
Wise. Jared Wise.
Thank you guys for
My
joining us.
brother-in-law, Russ McGuffey, showed up.
That's right. We had a
Yes.
big group in there tonight.
And don't forget our special guest, Efren, was with us.
That's right. Check
We
Dave
had
out
quite the
on
show.
every other Thursday, is it? Every other when?
It's supposed to be every other Thursday, but as we're recording this live at immediately following AEW, I will be live with Bill Apter tonight.
That's right. 10-8.
Then we'll go back to our normal Thursdays, but we'll be on tonight talking about Andy Kaufman in the Hall of Fame. Bill Apter is the reason that Andy Kaufman connected with Jerry Lawler.
I love
And
it.
Vince Senior Vincent J. McMahon wanted no part of that.
Mhm.
So Bill took Andy Kaufman to his apartment. His roommate at the time was a woman wrestler by the name of Susan Sexton. And she said something cute and walked in, closed the bedroom door with Andy Kaufman there. She wasn't impressed. And Bill called Jerry Lawler at home very late at night and connected them together, and the rest was history.
And how just amazing that is. You know, like all those little pieces. You know, Vince McMahon had to say no. He had to know Bill Apter. You
Well,
know,
Vince
Bill had to
McMahon-
know Jerry. You know what I mean? Vince McMahon Sr. had to say no.
Well, he told Hulk Hogan no about being Thunder Lips, and that's why
Yeah.
Hulk's first WWF run came to an
Yeah.
end, because Hogan went and did Rocky.
But it's
Which
just funny how
launched
all
him
those,
into the. And isn't that funny that it launched that Hogan being Thunder Lips launched him and became a sensation in the AWA,
Mhm.
and then went to Japan and won the IWGP tournament, which at the time they said that when you won the IWGP tournament, you got a world title shot from the three major organizations, because Hogan challenged Harley Race for the championship,
Mhm.
challenged Nick Bockwinkel, and he actually beat Bockwinkel, and they didn't recognize it.
Right.
Just think how stupid that is, that Vern Gagne could have attached that rocket to Hulk Hogan.
Well,
And
I
Vince
think-
McMahon, when he got his shot against Bob Backlund, Junior knew what to do with him.
Right. Well, and I think like what you were saying, I mean, Memphis was kind of known as maybe a, you know, let's try it and see what happens kind of thing, you know, anyway, territory. You know, the other ones, that just wasn't what they were seeing. That's not what they've been doing. And they, you know, like you said, the older promoters, I guess you could say, you know, they just didn't have that vision that maybe a Memphis, you know, that kind of did a little bit of everything. And then a Vincent Kennedy McMahon, you know, would have, and now where we are today. So
Yeah.
I think that, but again, all those little threads had to be weaved together to get one of the most, really the first kind of case. I mean, you know, going from reality to pro wrestling situations, you know, where would we be without the Kaufman Lawler, you know,
Exactly.
feud, you know?
I mean, I I saw a thread today, and I know better than to go to the comments, but somebody popped off. Well, how's he going in? And Ivan Koloff's not even in yet. Well, Ivan Koloff made a great contribution to pro wrestling and should be in the WWE Hall of Fame. He beat Bruno Sammartino. But Andy Kaufman did more for wrestling than Ivan Koloff did. With no disrespect to Ivan Koloff, Andy Kaufman put so many eyes on professional wrestling because Andy Kaufman was doing the women, beating up women, wrestling women on Saturday Night Live. Mm-hmm. Then him and Lawler were on David Letterman. I watched that episode. I saw that episode. That was my first exposure outside of a wrestling magazine to Jerry the King Lawler. Was watching that episode of Letterman.
I don't know why I thought Ivan Koloff was in the Legacy. You know how they, like I said earlier, they've kind of started to where now they have a Legacy.
I don't know if they put him in or not. But
maybe
he
not.
Definitely deserves it. He definitely deserves it.
Yeah.
But don't give me that Kaufman should have been in there years ago. And I hope that Jerry Lawler is healthy enough to have something to do with the induction, because that would be wrong to put Kaufman in this year and Jerry Lawler is not healthy enough to.
Right.
But in Hollywood, I don't know why. Hopefully that they'll be able to film something with Lawler. Maybe Lawler can at least introduce who's going to induct him.
Right. Well, I think that Lawler's at his home now in Memphis, right? So, I mean, at least he traveled from Florida to Memphis. So
I heard that he's
therapy.
doing. Yeah, Bill Apter talked to him the other day. Said he's doing pretty good.
Good.
He doesn't know if he's ready to he can go back to work anytime soon. But
right, gets to have some part in this story also, and is acknowledged. I really do. Because he really is one of those threads that really needs to be made aware of. Because
show up in an hour. Show up in an hour on his live and ask him about it.
Oh, man, can you ask him? I gotta go to bed. I'm an old fogey. It's like, that'll be 9 o'clock.
Well, if you're listening to this, we are glad that our threads intertwined, and thank you for listening to our take on WrestleMania 17 for the ugly Herbert story and all kinds of for trivia and everything else. We appreciate you listening. For Pondwater Dave, for Amy Vaughn, I am Justin Davis saying so long, take care of yourself and each other, and peace and love.
Bye-bye.